We have been hearing a lot about renewable energy. So much is happening, a lot of opportunities, everything. We hear US is top, and then we hear our Prime Minister saying that India wants to be on top of that and close to what China is doing or beyond. So I want to start this session just for the crowd to understand what is the potential of renewable energy, or what is the market capitalization that you see at present and at 2030 or 2040? Could you please start?
Good afternoon, everybody. Extremely thankful to be in this session here. Thank you, Sri Garu. Thank you, Apta, for this opportunity. I see a lot of youngsters, a lot of entrepreneurs, and a lot of people who have been there in the industry a long time. So I'll take a brief 3-4 minutes to give you a brief overview of why renewable energy is important, what's happening across the world, what is this whole energy transition, so that you'll have a better understanding of why this is one of the most important sunrise sectors across the world. Briefly, Greenco has been one of India's leading renewable energy companies about 17, 18 years ago. We have an operational capacity of 10 plus gigawatts, and most importantly, we are building what we call long duration energy storage projects. So the biggest problem with renewable energy is, let's say solar, it's only available for those 8 hours a day, but we need energy on a 24/7 basis. Especially, and wind is again late morning, early evening kind of these things. The biggest problem with renewables is that it is infirm in nature. So you need storage to store the renewable energy and deliver it when the grid needs. Fun things, I'll say, why renewable energy? Renewable energy today is the cheapest source of new energy available in India. Whereas new thermal capacities, new gas capacities, we don't have enough gas, will cost anywhere between 6, 7, 8 rupees per unit. Today, solar is at about 2.5, 3 rupees, wind is at 3.5, 4 rupees. Renewable energy has become the cheapest source of energy. So what's propelling renewable energy is not because it's good for the planet, it's green, it'll help the planet. The first primary driver is economic. It is the cheapest form of new energy available. And when you can combine it with storage, you have renewable energy that's available on a 24/7 basis.
So when you said it is cheapest, for example, if I generate power using coal or diesel or any other thing, if it costs me 100 rupees, how much is it going to cost me when it is solar or wind?
No, that's what I was saying. For new build solar in the current scenario, it's about 2.5 to 3 rupees per unit, whereas wind is about 3.5 to 4 rupees per unit. Whereas from an Indian context, if you want to build a new thermal power plant and you have to import coal or you have to transport coal from the hinterland, it's anywhere between 6, 7 rupees. And when you talk about the other source, gas is about 8, 9 rupees depending on international gas prices.
So definitely I see a difference of 60 to 70%.
It's huge. So renewable,
to it, as long as you have efficient thing.
Yes.
Okay.
So the important thing is, why I was saying all this is, renewables has become the cheapest source of energy. Combined with long duration storage, you achieve what is called, I call the holy grail. You have renewable energy available on a 24/7 basis. With that, the whole game changes, because globally, we all talk about electric vehicles, how are we going to do this energy transition, decarbonization, but electricity as a market is less than 10% of the total energy market. When you talk about energy, there's oil and gas, there's petrochemicals, then there's plastics, there are chemicals. The entire energy spectrum that comes out of the petrochemical industry is 90%, and electricity is only 10%. So all we have been seeing in the last many years is how we transition the electricity. We talk about electric cars, we talk about batteries, but the biggest problem for global warming is decarbonizing this 90% of the energy space with oil and gas. The other thing AM Green does is, what we are doing now is, with renewable energy available, you can electrolyze water, separate hydrogen and oxygen, and once green hydrogen is available, you combine it with captured carbon dioxide. And theoretically and practically today, the entire petrochemical value chain, whatever you get from oil and gas today, you can make the entire thing completely sustainably. Like, this plastic can be made sustainably, aviation fuel can be made sustainably, chemicals can be made sustainably. So that's the path the world will transition towards. For all of us to have any kind of future, it is extremely important that we have to do something about global warming.
Let me stop you there. That's a very good answer, and it's very hard for a lot of people to digest that much information also. So that's a very good one. Raghavendra garu, I want your take on it. Ms. Maurya garu gave his take. I want to hear from you.
Renewable energy for India is a need. Renewable energy for India is a need. Maybe for America it's a passion, but fashion. But for India is a need, because our infrastructure, energy infrastructure, is designed such a very poor that actually we don't regulate our frequencies. We don't regulate peak hours and non-peak hours. So that is one aspect, one deficiency we have. Second one is keeping the global warming, global issue. We have the problem statement in front of us. Solution is, for this global warming and global this thing, the solution is renewable energy. Renewable energy can be in form of many things, that is solar, wind, hydel, green hydrogen. Even tomorrow, if all these producing energy, we need to have battery energy storage system and biofuels. These are going to be sectors which are going to lead renewable energy. Coming back to the sector size, we have renewable energy mission, RE mission set by Prime Minister of India, and we need to, with this very big mission that actually in front of us, by 2030 we have to complete around 500 megawatt of renewable energy, 500 megawatt. Sorry, 500 gigawatt, sorry. It's a 500 gigawatt which we have to generate through renewables only, which is almost around 42% of total our energy requirements. So far actually I think approximately we have completed around 218 or 217 gigawatts so far, and that much volume is there in only next 3 to 4 years time. But we have net zero target by 2070. Net zero means whatever that fossil energy is generating through fossil fuels needs to be converted into the renewable energy. If you imagine, if entire our mobility, our homes, or our factories, or entire our power is coming from renewable energy, means you need to see what kind of infrastructure is going to happen. I am not giving you the numbers up to 2070, but I can tell you the numbers. Today, the market size is almost around 12.5 lakhs crores. By 2030, it is going to happen almost around 30 lakh crore business. And by 2040, we have almost $420 billion market is going to happen. I'm just talking only about in India. I'm not even touching actually neighboring continents. It is India business. I suggest for all young entrepreneurs who are into the renewable energy, please look at it. Please read that renewable energy, what is renewable energy and what is the market size. If at all you want to make your companies big, you have to be in growth segment sectors. Growth segment. For us actually being a Bondada, we are into 2 growth segments. In fact, 3 growth segments. One is telecom, that is digital Bharat, digital India. Second one is we are into the renewable energy, that is the RE mission. We are into the RE mission, and also we are into the railways, Indian railways. These are 3 growth segments. So my advice to the young entrepreneurs here, please be in what is the growth segments for next 10 years, next 20 years in India. Please study on that, get into that. You have ample opportunities in renewable energy, not only just solar. Renewable energy means not just only the solar. You have so many technologies, emerging technologies are coming in, and you have so much of content to be manufactured, components to be manufactured in India, and we have the Make in India advantage is there for the components to be components to be used in renewable energy. It's a very big business. One can look into this.
Thank you. Let me go to Durgarao garu. Durgarao garu, I want to ask you this question. నా దగ్గర మనీ ఉంది, ల్యాండ్ ఉంది. నాకు రెన్యూబుల్ ఎనర్జీలోకి రావాలంటే ఏం చేయాలి? I don't know. I'm not a big businessman. కానీ ఎలా అప్రోచ్ అవ్వాలి ఇప్పుడు ఈ రెన్యూబుల్ నేను విన్నదంటే చాలా ఎక్స్పెన్సివ్. ఏం సెటప్ చేయాలన్నా చాలా డబ్బుతో కూడుకున్నది. ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఐఎమ్ ఏ స్మాల్ ఇన్వెస్టర్, నా దగ్గర 10 crores ఉన్నాయి. నేను ఎలా స్టార్ట్ చేయాలి బిజినెస్? మీ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ కూడా మీరు మాట్లాడండి. యు ఆర్ వన్ ఆఫ్ ది రీసెంట్ ఎంట్రీ ఇంటూ రెన్యూబుల్ ఎనర్జీ. టాక్ అబౌట్ దాట్.
Hello. Actually, in this renewable energy field, we need fund and political influence also. We need more influence and more funds. If you have both, entrepreneur success in renewable energy. That is the reason I developed this company within 1 year. In my on-hand project, 80,000 crores project on hand. I entered the type with Malaysia government also, and I'm starting in Texas in America also. If you have more fund, you success in renewable energy.
Okay. So, Maurya garu, I want to ask you, because you are a big player, 10 gigawatts is a huge thing. See, mana Apta means Catalyst attendees, some of the people have slush funds, but they don't have infrastructure or anything to invest or anything. I mean, small time investors, like I have like 2 crores, 10 crores. How can I get into renewable energy? Please.
Sir, very important question. To address that, sir has brought up, when we talk about renewable energy, we have been only thinking about wind and solar, these large capex intensive projects. The biofuel space, when I was talking about, when I ended what I was talking before, talk about green hydrogen combined with carbon, you get the entire petrochemical value chain. That's called the green electron, and when you bring renewable energy, why do you produce green hydrogen molecule? But the most important evolving area, which is very important for all the young entrepreneurs, for the Indian economy, is this whole biofuel space, where various agricultural waste or specialist things that can be grown, which can be converted through the bio route into fuel and energies. The biofuels route in terms of the biodiesel, ethanol, we've been talking about it for the last 20 years, but now technology has matured. There are enough, I would say, global leading technologies where entrepreneurs can definitely look at the biofuel space for small investments, and the reactors, there's compressed biogas. Government of Andhra Pradesh has recently come up with something called an integrated clean energy policy, using these fuels. They're extremely helpful for the country because they are import substitution, and the entry barriers are low. A lot of young entrepreneurs should look at technologies that are globally available to convert these bio wastes and bio products into energy, fuels, and byproducts. That's one thing to be in the renewable space. The limited understanding of renewables is not wind and solar. There's a much larger, wider ambit of what all can be done. That's one interesting thing. And from time to time, there are a lot of players who are doing rooftop solar, a lot of industries who are looking for entrepreneurs to come invest and set up rooftop solar projects. Because today, grid-based power for industries is anywhere between 6-7 rupees, whereas with rooftop solar, you can achieve power at 3.5-4 rupees. So I've heard about multiple entrepreneurs who have come up with this setup where you do third-party rooftop solar. That's an entry point. But the thing is, like Greenco or Bundada or Sunware, the larger infrastructure, when you talk about 500 megawatt, 1000 megawatt, multiple gigawatt renewable energy projects, these are like a gigawatt of solar is about $4,000, 5,000 acres of land. You have 400 kilowatt transmission systems. These are a little difficult for individual entrepreneurs to enter directly, but I would say the affiliated areas of distributed solar, now government will come up with battery storage technologies at substation levels. They're talking about a green energy grid. I'm saying the market is evolving so fast, so entrepreneurs, youngsters should keep track of it, look at where the evolving technologies. Europe is ahead of us. US, I would say, not so much, especially with change in governments, focus on renewable energy might shift. But Europe has been very steadfast in their resolve towards sustainability. So you should always look at, track what technologies are evolving and keep an open mind in terms of how do you localize those technologies